What do you guys think are the traits of a good instructor? I've said this once and I'll say it again. The ability to teach and your skill level at a certain thing are two different things. Meaning, obviously, just because you have obtained a certain skill level at an activity does not mean that you're able to teach it. You may still be unable to verbalize and to help others understand and comprehend how you were able to obtain that level. Of course, we all understand that you practice, but what is it that makes what you do so much better than the next person's? And that's where some people may have a difficulty verbalizing such things. And thus, it may be tempting to want to take a class with a dancer that you enjoy, but I think you should always understand that they may be incompetent or just maybe unable to convey to you what separates them from the next person, especially if they give just generic advice. But back to the original question, what traits does a good teacher specifically, what traits does that person have? And I think first off, it has to be verbal skills, right? I think this also leads me to another thing, man. How difficult is it to take a class with an instructor who does not speak your native tongue, your native language? How difficult is that? Because there's going to be a language barrier, and so thus things are going to get lost in translation. You're going to have questions that they're going to be unable to answer, and that's super unfortunate. Because of course, some of the best dancers, they may not speak English, which is the language I speak. They may speak other languages. And that's definitely something I've noticed, especially with dances that I love. I love Kizomba. And a lot of times, some of the best dancers, they speak Portuguese or they may speak something completely different. Same thing can be said about salsa, although I think salsa more so has a lot of English speakers now at this point. Salsa and bachata as well as Brazilian zouk. That language barrier definitely has to be accounted for, man. So that teacher being able to verbalize, and I guess it really goes back to how much do they understand? It's one thing to be taught what to do at a certain point, and then you just kind of, well, I guess what I mean to say is it's possible to forget things that you have learned and then be unable to verbalize that, if that makes sense to you. Meaning, you may be taught to do your basic step and you've been doing it this way for so long that it's so natural to you that you don't even understand, what may be wrong with it or what may be right with it, if that makes sense to you. And so for a lot of teachers, man, they may have been doing things so long that they may forget what it's like to be a beginner. And so that's where it comes into where, teaching is a skill, something that has to be practiced. So yes, being able to verbalize your thoughts, understand on a deeper level what it takes to accomplish this, and then being able to relay that in a fashion that your students are able to pick up, man. It's super difficult, very difficult. But at the same time, you have to juggle that with having a fun and engaging class that people want to return to every week. Something that I've noticed from talking to a lot of dance studio owners, a lot of teachers, man, is that how many people truly want to master the basics? Meaning, how many people really want to take a class where you're just practicing your basic for an hour? Very few, right? Most people want to go into class and learn a cool pattern or learn a cool shine. But of course, as everything, it's a building block. And the stronger your foundation, of course, the better of a dancer you're going to be. I'm pretty sure it's been said plenty of times, but One of the first things you learn is your basic. One of the last things you master is your basic. That's how important it is. It's the fundamental to everything. I've done my basics so many times, and yet I know there's still so many things I can improve upon it. Your basics are just not your basic step, but of course, what everything else builds upon. So your basic step, your left hand turn, your right hand turn, your own turn, turning yourself. And then, I guess essentially everything builds upon that. How to improve your crossbody lead. How to just improve your stepping, your basic step. Obviously, oh my goodness, that is the foundation. That's like the super foundation, is your basic step. Oh man. So it's such a difficult task as a teacher, man. But obviously that's what separates the professionals from the amateurs, those who take the time to perfect the basics. Those are just two thoughts I had. Let me know what you guys think. What are the traits of a good instructor?